struggles our local restaurants have had to endure over the last year and the efforts they're making to stay afloat. Competing with the wines of the world, the national recognition some of our local wineries are getting, beating out California wineries. What's new starts now.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
Happy Friday, friends. Thank you so much for choosing What's New, along with January Keaton, who is in for Betsy on this Friday. I'm Jay Crawford. January, good to have you in again. Happy Friday to you.
Happy Friday to you, too, Jay. I'm so excited to be back. I got so many viewer emails that said, we love you and Jay. You guys are so cool together. So I'm so glad they had me back. I missed you.
I've missed you, too, and I'm glad to have you back on this, the last day of winter. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. But first, we begin today at 5 with news on the vaccination front. Today is the day that hundreds of thousands of additional Ohioans can register for that COVID-19 vaccine. As of today, anyone 40 years old and older, and those under 40 that are battling cancer, heart disease, chronic kidney disease, obstructive pulmonary disease, and obesity can also sign up for the shot. But finding open slots, as we've seen, has been a struggle since day one, and it is still proving to be a challenge for many. So our Rachel Polanski is showing us how to put your name on something called a no-waste vaccine list. And this could be a game changer for many Ohioans.
To make sure that all vaccines are being administered, many Ohio Walmarts are now offering no waste lists that you can join, regardless of your eligibility.
So when I called this morning for myself, I verified, because I don't want to take a shot from someone that is eligible. Like, that's the last thing I want to have happen. And I said, okay, I'm 39. I am not eligible. She goes, that's okay. These are no waste shots. You come in.
It's how Precious Zingo was able to snag a shot this morning.
When they're no waste, they don't care who takes them. They just don't want to lose them.
If an eligible person cancels their appointment or doesn't show up, the pharmacy will start calling people on their no waste lists. So how do you get your name on one of these? I started calling Northeast Ohio Walmarts this morning. When you hear the automated recording, click on the pharmacy option.
Press 0 to repeat.
Then speak to a pharmacy associate. It's Polanski. And when a person picks up, ask them this question. Hi, I was wondering if I can get on your no waste list. Everyone I talked with was very helpful, but keep in mind, not every pharmacy has vaccine, and not every pharmacy has a no waste list. So it's a very tedious process. May I ask, how long is the list right now? And you'll want to be patient. Now, I probably called about 30 Walmarts all over Northeast Ohio today, and I did get my name on about a dozen of these no waste lists, Jay. So now I'm just waiting for my phone call.
Very good. I'm wondering, because we've seen that there's been a difference when it comes to availability with shots, when it comes to rural areas as opposed to those that are more urban. Did you see that there was a difference between the Walmarts based on where they were located?
You know, it's tough to say, but I will say that I noticed when I called the more rural areas that a lot of times the people I spoke with said there were about 30 to 50 people ahead of me on these no waste lists. Whereas when I called the urban areas or cities, they said there were hundreds of people ahead of me. So I do think, you know, there's something to be said there. And it does look like I might have a better shot in the rural areas as opposed to the urban areas, Jay.
All right, very good. Just another option, another avenue that people have to get that much needed COVID-19 shot. Rachel Polanski live with us tonight. Rachel, thank you.
Now on your feed at 5. Booking vaccines appointments have been especially hard for Ohioans who don't use the internet all the time. But Laura Queso found a group that's willing to help. Laura, how is social media connecting Ohioans with a vaccine?
Oh, January, you might be surprised. The power of social media here. I spoke with the creator of a Facebook page that's helping hundreds of Ohioans snag a vaccine. A Cleveland native saw the need, so he created the Facebook page, Ohio Vaccine Hunter. It has more than 6,000 members. It's a centralized hub for vaccine information, free rides to appointments if you need one, even tips and tricks to book a vaccine. It also offers volunteers who can help you find your shot. There are Facebook pages like this throughout the country, too.
Thousands, if not 10,000s of people have directly gotten appointments through Facebook groups like this across the country.
And I also spoke to a volunteer who is helping to book vaccines through the Facebook site. Amanda Parker-Woolery knows the feeling of desperately wanting to book a vaccine. Her father was diagnosed with cancer right at the start of the pandemic. She told me this.
Number one tip I would say is staying persistent. There is no streamlined process for this, unfortunately. Even government websites aren't necessarily streamlined, and it is incredibly frustrating.
Okay, but I have more tips for you. First, have multiple browsers open at one time, like Google Chrome, Firefox, Safari. There are so many more. If you don't see vaccine appointments right away, keep checking. Sites are adding hourly. For Giant Eagle, we're told the site updates with appointments every 5 minutes, so keep refreshing. Now, there are so many more helpful tips from these vaccine hunters. I'll share those with you at 6, including 2 websites, one based out of Ohio, that Amanda tells me will help you secure a vaccine within 24 hours if you keep looking. That's big. Plus, I'll let you know when certain locations post appointments each day, so that way you can try to snag them right at the beginning, January.
All right, very helpful information. Thank you so much, Laura.
Sure.
Well, day one of the NCAA basketball tournament is always a huge deal. But because last year's big dance was wiped out because of COVID-19, this year's March Madness seems bigger than ever, especially here in Cleveland. That's because for just the 3rd time ever, the Cleveland State Vikings are on the dance floor. The Vikings made the tournament as a 15 seed, which means they've got a tough opening act. They'll have to play 2-seed Houston tonight at Assembly Hall in Bloomington, Indiana. Tip time set for 7:15. The Vikings really have their work cut out for them, no question about that. Houston favored to win by 20. But remember, back in 1986, when Cleveland State made the tournament for the first time ever, they beat 3-seed Indiana in the first round, then followed that up with another big win against St. Joseph's. And by doing that, they became the first ever 14 seed to make it to the Sweet 16. Cleveland State head coach Dennis Gates believes this team has the moxie to hang in there tonight against the Cougars.
We have the tenacity to endure whatever the climate is, whatever the terrain we are presented with, to overcome and galvanize all these core values together. And that's what we've done.
So just to show you that anything can happen in the tournament, just a short while ago, Ohio State and Oral Roberts went to overtime. They are in overtime right now. Ohio State is a 2 seed and Oral Roberts is a 15 seed. Oral Roberts just took the lead 66-64. My point here, Ohio State was as big a favorite in that game as Houston will be over Cleveland State tonight. You got to play the games to win the games. Overall, 15 seeds have just 8 wins against 132 losses in that opening round game against 2 seeds. Should be an interesting night for Cleveland State. Go Vikings.
Yes, interesting indeed, Jay. Well, in this new world of social distancing, tonight, a way to be close to people and also far enough to stay safe. The North Ridgeville Aut-O-Rama opens tonight, y'all, so get ready to relive the good old days of your youth with a drive-in movie. Few things take you back down memory lane like the old drive-in movie theater. But back in the day, there was no pandemic. Nowadays, folks are stuck in their homes. Well, tonight, a small piece of our old normal is opening back up for the season.
We're so excited here. We took a brief vacation, you could say, of our off-season this year. Just a couple months, we've been shut down, usually a lot longer.
The North Ridgeville Aut-O-Rama ended its 2020 season just a couple months ago in January. They'd extended the season to make up for the money lost due to COVID. Well, tonight, a screening of Tom and Jerry and Space Jam opened the 2021 season with COVID safety procedures in place, of course. When you try to get your popcorn, go to the bathroom, well, maybe not in that order.
We're allowing only half of what our capability is to let people in the seat, so that way there's plenty of distance between cars. Only allowing a certain amount of people in the concession stand as they flow through. We're sanitizing in between. Our employees are wearing gloves. Everybody's required to wear masks when they're out of their vehicle.
So clean out your cars, pile your family in the old Studebaker, and leave COVID in your rear view mirror for a couple hours. Head on down to the North Ridgeville Aut-O-Rama for some good old-fashioned, safe outdoor film fun.
some relief, some sense of normalcy, and just some entertainment, and let people have some fun.
And again, tonight is Tom and Jerry at 8:20 and Space Jam at 10:15. Now, Dell said, buy your tickets online if you can. It's the best way to do it so that in case it's packed there tonight, you won't get turned away trying to buy tickets on site. Remember, limited driving is going on. So ticket info, it's on our website, WKYC.com.
I don't know about you, January. I'm old enough to remember when they were popular.
I jumped on you, Jay. I'm sorry. It said January starts the chat, sir. No, anyway, yes, absolutely. Used to be so popular. I remember going to drive-in movies. The first thing I saw was Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
I don't remember the first movie that I ever saw at a drive-in theater, but it was, I don't want to say a huge part of my youth, but I would say at least once a summer there for a stretch of about 6 to 8 years, I would hit the drive-in theater. And it's great fun. I mean, particularly during warm weather.
It is so fun.
Yeah, I mean, when it's warm,
Yeah,
if you're in a convertible, the top's down, or you can sit on the hood and enjoy the weather. Hey, a little throwback, and I think that's a great thing. All right, coming up next on What's New.
Yes.
Raise a glass, because we're telling you about a local winery that took on the big boys of California, and they won.
Plus, the Mighty Ducks are making a comeback. Details on the new series ahead in your Pop Break.
And Matt Standridge is in today for weather. Matt, it's the last day of winter and the sun is shining.
And it feels pretty nice out there once you get out of the wind. It's that wind that gets you. It's still out of the northeast. But what we're tracking is when those winds will turn and become more southerly, helping us get back to the 60s. We'll have your weekend forecast coming up.
Welcome back to What's New. Some of our local wineries are getting national recognition for their sweet stuff. Debonair Vineyards, the largest estate winery in Ohio, is one of them. They recently won major awards during the San Francisco Chronicle competition. That is the largest competition for American wines in the world. We spoke to some of the guys behind the wine on their double gold win and more.
It's a really big deal for not only us, but for the reputation of the Grand River Valley region.
Debonnaire Vineyards has many reasons to raise a glass tonight. They just won double gold for their Chardonnay, gold for their ice wine, and silvers for their Sauvignon Blanc and Riesling in a recent national competition. Tony DeBevic, owner and president of Debonnaire Vineyards, says this is just another big win for Northeast Ohio after winning Best of Class last year for their Chardonnay.
Cleveland's not going to be just known for beer, you know. It's going to be the wine and beer capital of the Midwest.
48 judges blind tested nearly 5,700 wines from more than 1,000 wineries nationwide. DeBevic says winning the award for Chardonnay is huge, given it's one of the most popular types of wine. But to beat out California, considered one of the top winemaking areas in the world, well, that's especially huge.
People came over to the tasting and immediately asked, what part of California are you from? I said, no, we're from Ohio. And the looks on their faces were across the spectrum.
We're just so proud to be part of that group.
There are 16 wineries within a 6-mile radius of Debonnaire Vineyards, with 8 other wineries in the outlying areas in Northeast Ohio.
I think that's what's really important to the consumer in Cleveland, is that we really have some good wines out here.
We really do. Now, the growth of the wine industry in Lake County is something special and certainly something that the area should be very proud of. We also want to give a congrats to 3 other Ohio wineries who received medals in the San Francisco Chronicle competition. That includes Valley View-based Ficara Cellars, Lorello Vineyards in Geneva, and Solon-based North Coast Wine Club. Congratulations to all of them. When you beat the California Vineyards, January, that is saying something. Now, the fine folks at Debonnaire sent over a bottle of their double gold winner. This is unoaked Chardonnay. This is the one that took the big award here. We have already gone through the process to make sure January has a glass up there. So January, I'm going to go ahead and pour myself a little taste, and then we'll do a little live taste test. Are you ready? We'll raise a glass to a good rest of the show.
Go ahead.
All right, here we go.
Let's do it. Cheers.
Now, I should say I am by no means...
No, I'm just kidding. This is really good.
I'm by no means a connoisseur. Not really a big wine drinker, but I will say that it has absolutely no bitter aftertaste. It tastes very good. I can see why it won the award.
So smooth.
Yeah.
I think I understand why. It's absolutely smooth. It's just the perfect sweet versus, you know, what do they call it when it's a rich wine? I can taste notes of oak and berry, you know how they do that. But anyway, it is a wonderful wine. Congratulations. This is really good. And I will be drinking the rest of the glass in the commercial break.
Very good. So will I.
Well, Matt Standridge, you don't have any wine, and that's unfortunate. And he's in today for weather, Matt. What do you say we kick winter out of here? Please, can we just do that?
Yes. Hey, we only have 12 hours to go before spring officially begins. I've been drinking that wine kind of vicariously through you. In fact, when my wife and I first got here January, when she was trying to feel out the area, did she like it yet? One of the first things we did was go to a winery. She said, yep, I could live here. And so here we are. But January.
I like your wife.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Hey, we got some great weather out there even right now. It is on the cold side and it's still windy, but at least the clouds are out and the sunshine is back. Now the winds, that's basically our biggest forecast as we move forward. We still have some northeasterly winds which blow over a cold Lake Erie and then just keep us chilly here in Ohio. Now over time, those winds are slowing down and they're starting to turn. So tomorrow may be the last day where they're still out of the northeast, but a lot calmer. Today, the gusts are, over 20 miles per hour. Tomorrow, we're going to go down about 8 miles per hour. But look, by Sunday, the winds kind of change directions and we'll be out of the southeast, finally helping us to warm up. I just want to show some of the current wind speeds and wind gusts. The wind gusts are shown in that yellow color, but we're still getting some wind gusts in the teens and 20s. Not as bad as yesterday, but things are still feeling kind of chilly out there. And of course, you factor in the wind chill, and it makes us feel like some of us are below freezing, especially close to the lakeshore. But clear skies on satellite and radar, nothing is going on. You look towards the north and west, and high pressure is moving on in. That's going to keep us with the sunshine for the next couple of days. The only thing we're tracking with this high pressure is that it's going to be moving over towards the mid-Atlantic, and as it does so, we'll be on the back side of the high pressure system, and that means we'll start to get those southerly winds. So right now we're getting the north wind, and by Sunday those southerly winds will return. Over the next 12 hours we will dip below freezing tonight. It's probably going to be pretty chilly waking up tomorrow morning in those 20s, but by the afternoon we should warm up into the 50s, a lot warmer than we were today. Lakeshore areas probably sticking in those 40s. Here's your National Design hour forecast. Let's walk you through what we're expecting in the next several hours. So still some northerly winds out there tonight. It's going to be chilly. We'll be waking up with temperatures mainly in the 20s. Some of us trying to hold on to a 30 here or so, but most of us will be below freezing. Tomorrow afternoon, though, getting back into the 40s, maybe some low 50s. Once again, especially once you get a little bit farther away from the lakeshore. Spring officially begins tomorrow at 5:37 in the morning, and we have some nice spring weather to accompany it as well as we're headed into Sunday. 60s return. And Jay, in January, I think we're going to stay in the 60s for the rest of this upcoming week. So for the first full week of spring on the Union Home Mortgage 7-day outlook, we're sticking in the 60s.
Bless your heart, Matt, for these temperatures.
You.
Thank you so much. Coming up on What's New, honoring the life and legacy of Brittany Murphy. Wow, you know, Girl Interrupted was my favorite movie of hers. We'll have a look at the new HBO project, Remembering the Late Actress.
Then his day job is to serve and protect, but his passion is singing. Wait until you hear local Canine belt out some country music. And by the way, it's over in Indianapolis. Oral Roberts stuns Ohio State. The biggest upset of the tournament by far. The two-seeded Buckeyes are done.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Welcome back, everybody, to What's New on this Friday. Oh my gosh, it's the weekend. I'm so exhausted. A new docuseries is in the works on late actress Brittany Murphy. I miss her. The Biebs is back with new music, and the Mighty Ducks are back too, off the ice. Here's Keaton with all those details in your pop break.
It's been more than 10 years since the untimely passing of actress Brittany Murphy, but HBO is keeping her legacy alive with a new 2-part docuseries. According to a statement, this series will include new interviews with those close to Murphy, archived footage, and a look into the mysterious circumstances surrounding her death. The clueless star passed away back in 2009 due to a combination of pneumonia and the effects of several other over-the-counter drugs. Despite being ruled an accident, when her husband passed away in 2010 of the same cause, many began to speculate about her death. HBO has not yet announced a release date for the series. Switching gears now to music. Justin Bieber has released his 6th studio album and a brand new single called Peaches. The song, featuring R&B heavyweights Giveon and Daniel Caesar, is the 5th single from the album titled Justice. Prior to its release, Bieber explained the meaning behind the album's title in an Instagram post saying, "I know that I cannot simply solve injustice by making music, but I do know that if we all do our part by using our gifts to serve this planet and each other, that we are much closer to being united." Justice, the album, and the official music video for Peaches are out now. In 30 years, after the Mighty Ducks skated their way into the hearts of so many, they're making a comeback. The revival series, The Mighty Ducks Game Changers, is set to premiere on Disney Plus next week. And as a bonus, the original cast members from the first 3 films will be there too, at least for 1 episode. According to reports, the massive reunion is set to take place during episode 6 at a Spirit of the Ducks gala where they're honoring the current coach and the history of the Ducks organization. Can you believe it? After all these years, the Mighty Ducks will reunite. I guess this is proof that they really do fly together. January?
That's right. I love that. They really do fly together. Thank you so much, Kiera.
All right now it's time for our Worth the Watch video of the day. I want to introduce you to Igor. He is one of the Shaker Heights canines, and he loves country singer Eric Church. In fact, he loves him so much, he can even sing along to his songs. Watch this.
Yes.
I have a question. See, I don't know if that means he loves what he's hearing or if he actually hates what he's hearing. One way or another, it definitely brings out a reaction. Pretty cool, actually.
I love that. You know, my dog sings along with me. Whenever I sing, she sings, so I can relate to this story.
Then it must mean that they love what they're hearing. As long as your dog is singing along with you, I'm sure that's what it means. All right, still ahead on What's New.
Yes.
Save Our Sauce. We're putting a spotlight on all the struggles our local restaurants have gone through during the pandemic, and we'll tell you what's next for them. Then, what's new in the NFL for women? Browns Chief of Staff Callie Bronson tells us about all the progress she is seeing in the male-dominated industry and the goals she has set for herself.
Oh, what's up? Is that David? Bro, what's up, man? Yeah, buddy. it goes. A little chilly right now, but besides that, I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
Welcome back to the program. It is a Friday edition of What's New. I hope everyone is enjoying the weekend that is about to happen. It's spring begins tomorrow, so January Keaton, who's in for Betsy, that's a huge deal. I'm glad that we're ready to put winter behind us once and for all. I really am.
Me too. I am so excited to be in for Betsy. I feel so honored because those are tough shoes to fill.
She's a jack of all trades. She does a little of everything. Now, sadly, we were not able to update the graphic to get a cartoon version of January, but we'll go to our countdown here. We've been doing this since there were about 30 days left. And now this is it. The countdown to spring.
That's me, I'm the squirrel.
It is tomorrow. It is tomorrow. In fact, Matt Sandridge telling us a short while ago that it begins actually early tomorrow morning. So about 12 hours from now, winter is gone. By the way, a quick update. I had mentioned it going into the commercial break, but this should give hope to Cleveland State tonight as they get ready to play 2-seed Houston. The second-seeded Ohio State Buckeyes lose in the opening round to a 15 seed in Oral Roberts. Cleveland State, there is a way that can happen. We just saw it. They lost in overtime, and the Buckeyes, who had a great season, are now done. Pretty shocking game, and that will be the biggest upset in the first round, I would think.
Oh, my gosh. I'm afraid to check my Facebook page. I know it's going to be all over the place. But we begin this half hour with 3 things you need to know. Today, the CDC updated its guidelines for social distancing in schools. The agency says 3 feet apart is okay if other safety protocols like wearing masks is taking place. The recommendation stems from a study that compared COVID-19 cases among students and staff at schools in Massachusetts. It showed transmission rates in districts that required students to be 6 feet apart was similar to those that were 3 feet apart. 6 feet, that's still recommended between adults and students during activities, like eating, singing, and sports.
Our number of daily COVID-19 cases takes a big dip from yesterday when we were over 2,000. In fact, they're down more than 500 cases today, 1,551 new instances of COVID-19 reported today. That's just about our 14-day average as well. As of yesterday, Ohio is at 144 cases per 100,000 residents. Remember, we need to be at 50 per 100,000 to lose all of our restrictions. And on the vaccine front, more than 2.6 million Ohioans now have received at least one shot of the COVID-19 vaccine. That makes up 22.6% of our total population. Excuse me. And today, the U.S. reached its goal of injecting 100 million COVID-19 shots. You'll remember that President Joe Biden's goal was to reach that 100 million shots by his 100th day in office. He did that. In fact, he beats it by more than a month. The nation now administering about 2.5 million shots per day. Certainly good news there. All right, now on to our top talker at 5:30. The restaurant industry has been pummeled by the COVID-19 pandemic. Many, in fact, forced to close their doors because they just weren't making ends meet. This year, What's New started highlighting local restaurants and their specialties as a way to ramp up business for their restaurants. And tonight, Our 3 News documentary, Save Our Sauce, airs on 3 News. Austin Love spent the last month talking to local restaurant owners about the struggles of navigating their business through COVID. Take a look.
I'm not one to ask for help. Clevelanders are pretty proud. You know, we're gonna stick through it. So I don't think that we're used to asking for help. But in the last year, especially in the restaurant community, we have had to check our egos at the door and say, we are all in the same boat here. Let's try to paddle together.
We'll be signing an order that all bars in the state and all restaurants will close at 9 o'clock tonight.
It was almost like watching a tidal wave approaching. Wow, this thing is 10 stories tall and it's about to crash on us.
How long this order will be in effect, we don't frankly know.
Like Rocky or something. You just getting boo, boo, boo. And these body shots coming from like the biggest component in the world, the governor.
It will be in effect as long as it needs to.
You have to stay calm. What do I have to do to survive?
It was tragic because they basically said it wasn't safe to be here.
Just when you think you got it bad, I got 2 words for you. Look around.
Find a way to make it work.
The last 12 months have largely been fog of war. Is it going to be another week, month, or year?
There's no pride anymore. This is life or death.
We can't make excuses. Excuses don't pay the bills.
All right, that's what we in the business call a tease. That was the first 2 minutes of our documentary, Save Our Sauce, a celebration of Northeast Ohio restaurants. The rest of that 28 minutes is going to be airing tonight at 7 o'clock. So excited for everyone to take a look at this. It's just really a raw look inside the minds and just the perspective of our area restaurant owners and workers who have really had such a tough year, different sanctions changing each and every day. It's going to highlight their struggle, but also their perseverance through all of this. And it's an industry all throughout Northeast Ohio that employs over 500,000 people overnight, completely shut down. And so tonight we're also doing our part as well in helping raise money for the Ohio Restaurant Employee Relief Fund. So there's going to be a QR code all throughout the documentary. You can simply just take your phone, snap a picture, and we're asking you to donate what you can, because while there is light at the end of the tunnel here for our restaurant industry, there is certainly a long way to go, Jay.
Very much looking forward to the show. I know it's going to be well produced and it's going to be packed with information. I was really surprised. That number, 585,000 Ohioans are working in the industry. That's 5% of the state's total population that have been affected by this, and that is a surprise. I'm wondering, Austin, was there something that surprised you over the last month as you've been working on this project?
Yeah, Jay, that's an interesting question. I kind of went into this thinking, just knowing everything that had gone on, is I was thinking that maybe this would be kind of a sad and darker story than what it really turned out to be. But I think that just because of everyone that I talked to, the restaurant owners would not let this be a dark moment for them, but really an enlightening moment for them when their back is pushed against the wall. There was no attitude of, oh, pity me, woe is me, and my struggles. It was, all right, it was a fighter's mentality, what Vic from Sauce City said, and that's really what will be highlighted here. I think you're going to find inspiration from this and get a lot of respect for our restaurant owners and our workers who have really just navigated through this tough period against all odds.
Well, in a word, they have collectively been resilient. Very, very determined to make it.
Exactly.
Austin, thanks. I appreciate it. Again, as I mentioned, we've been featuring local restaurants on What's New for more than a month now, and today's feature is Blue Habanero. It's in Gordon Square. This place not only has great food, but really creative cocktails and margaritas, so you have to check that out. In fact, you can check out that restaurant and more suggestions from our Doug Tratner. He's our Mr. Food You can find it at wkyc.com/saveoursauce.
I am sorry I was still drinking this Debonnaire Double Gold Winter Unoaked Chardonnay, and I am lit. All right, still ahead, we'll tell you about a challenge happening right here in Northeast Ohio to help everyone recognize racism. And then making changes in the NFL. We go one-on-one with Brown's Chief of Staff, Callie Brownson, about carving the way for other young women in football. And Matt, what is going on outside? It is gorgeous.
Yeah, I mean, just take a look at this. This is looking live from our CSU cam, looking over downtown. Clear skies are out there. We have a strong wind, and I know it's really cold out there. The wind chills are in the 20s, but it's that wind that has a lot of dry air with it, and it's going to keep the clouds away from us for at least the next 2 or 3 days. We're going to have that full forecast for you coming up.
All right, you know, we've been counting down for the last, I guess, month or so, the beginning of spring, and now, Matt Standridge in for weather, we are at just about 12 hours and counting, which I'm so excited about that. And it looks like your forecast, it's going to arrive spring right on cue.
It's appropriate. And I was looking at the past couple of years. The past 2 years, we've also had first days of spring in the 50s and 60s. So nice. I kind of like the trend that we're on. Today, though, we're not in those 50s and 60s, Jay. It feels pretty cool out there, but spring is on its way. I'm looking at the time, 5:42. That means spring starts in 11 hours and 55 minutes. Take a look at this map. Temperatures are chilly out there, but I want to show you what's kind of cool just with Lake Erie. Of course, with those northeast winds, you blow over the cold waters and it spills over inland, right? But those blue areas show you exactly where the wind is really being impacted by Lake Erie. You live in Ashtabula, we're in the mid-30s. Some of that cooler air spills in Medina and Mansfield as well. You head south and east, though, Akron, Canton, Dover. we're in the mid-40s. We're not having a direct line from those winds coming off the lake, so we're just a touch warmer. The winds are still out there. I know that, but they're going to start calming down here in the next several hours. That's the good news, right? Yesterday, we had wind gusts near 50 miles per hour. Throughout the day, we had gusts near 20. Now we're starting to calm down. We're in the teens for a lot of us, and we'll start to even cool that wind gauge down a little bit as we go into the weekend as well. Clear skies, though, area-wide. You zoom out, high pressure is moving in from the northwest, and that means with those clear skies are here, there's just not much going on across the central United States. So clear skies will stick around, not just for the rest of today, but for your Saturday, Sunday, and honestly, even into Monday. That system you see coming in the Pacific coast, that probably won't arrive until the middle of this upcoming week. So the sunshine's sticking around. Tomorrow will be in the low 50s, clear skies. It is going to be chilly, though. A lot of us will be waking up below freezing and in those 20s, but we will rebound into the 50s. I want to show you that on the National Design Hour forecast. All you're going to notice are the numbers changing, right? You don't see any rain showers, no snow showers, none even clouds out there, just because of those dry winds that are out there. But we'll be pretty chilly waking up tomorrow morning. As we rebound into the afternoon, I think we'll top out into some low 50s. So this is a forecast I made just for Jay, the weekend yard work. It's going to be a better day for Sunday. You could do a Saturday, that's fine. But just notice on Sunday, we'll rebound back into those 60s, and we'll stay in those 60s. And you're looking at the Union Home Mortgage 7-day outlook for the first full week of spring. One thing we'll also notice is that those southerly winds will increase. Those will start to come back on Sunday. That's the reason why we get back into the 60s. But those southerly winds come right from the Gulf of Mexico, and that brings more moisture and eventually more clouds and eventually more rain showers. So we've got some dry weather January the next couple of days. By the end of this upcoming week, the weather will start to get active once again.
I ain't looking at nothing but Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, Matt Standridge.
Right.
That looks so good. I am so excited. Thank you so much, honey. Well, there are 8 women coaching in the NFL. I bet y'all didn't know that. Who would know that? And one of them is Callie Brownson, the Browns' chief of staff. Our digital anchor, Stephanie Haney, talked with her in her last podcast episode. Now, Brownson talked about what's new for women in the NFL and all of her accomplishments so far.
Hey everybody, you know, women in the NFL keep making history, and Cleveland is at the center of that. Thanks to Cleveland Browns Chief of Staff Callie Brownson, who is already honored in the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton after just 2 seasons in the NFL. Here's why that's a very big deal.
Now it's going to be hard to keep women out of the Hall of Fame. You know, it was very cool, you know, to see, my artifacts there for sure. It's definitely something I never could have imagined in a million years. But I think I was so much more optimistic for what this meant for women, because there's going to be tons of people who go through there and walk through there and would never expect to see some sort of a female display. And now females in football registers with them and maybe changes their mind about how they feel about it and pushes the needle just a little bit more in the direction of change.
The truth is Brownson is leading that path to change, now as the highest-ranking female coach in the NFL. That's since serving as the interim position coach for the tight ends in Week 11. Now, where some people might feel pressure in that situation, Brownson saw it as an opportunity to prepare for the future.
I knew I was going to have to step up in ways this year that I didn't necessarily plan for in 2020. So you see those things as opportunities. It's an opportunity to grow. The next goal really for me is to work my way to eventually being, qualified to be a position coach.
We'd be lucky to have her in that role. For more from Brownson and what she sees for the future of all women in the NFL, find the 3 Things to Know with Stephanie Haney podcast on every platform and linked at WKYC.com/3 Things to Know.
All right. Thank you so much, Stephanie. And Jay, that is so exciting. Such exciting news. And I know this has nothing to do with football, but Stephanie always looks amazing, and I always love her outfits. You can't chime in on that at all, can you?
No, she does. I can second that for sure. And back to Callie Brownson. This January is a real trend, and Stephanie touched on it in the piece, but just 2 or 3 years ago, this was news whenever there was a woman on an NFL staff. Now it's becoming commonplace. I think it's a real barrier that we have seen knocked down in professional sports over the last decade.
I mean, it is amazing to see women in football. It's absolutely amazing. And then I make the comment about how beautiful this woman looks and her outfit. So I just set us back like 60 years with that opening line. Sorry about that, but you guys get me. All right, next on What's New, a 21-day challenge happening right here in Cleveland. It teaches participants about racism and our communities. I talked to a man who went through the program about what he learned.
Then one little boy heard about a littered park, and he decided that he was going to take matters into his own hands. It's a really cool story, one that I hope spreads like wildfire. It's our Show Us Something Good, and it's coming up.
Well, early this month, I shared a story about YWCA of Greater Cleveland's 21-Day Challenge. It's an opportunity to learn about structural racism and help you build a daily habit of confronting your own biases. It's open to anyone who wants to participate. And I recently spoke with an area leader who has been a longtime supporter about why it is so worth it. The YWCA's 21-Day Challenge is for everyone, including leaders of the community.
I've been an early adopter, someone who's been involved in the initiative over the last handful of years, both as an individual looking to learn and advance my understanding on these issues and challenges, but also as a community leader.
Ray Leach is the CEO of Jumpstart, an entrepreneurial-based organization that supports diversity in business. He took the challenge himself and brought in members of Jumpstart to do it too.
It's really important for leaders at Jumpstart in organizations doing this work to have a much deeper, better, stronger appreciation and understanding of the challenges of what it means to be Black in Cleveland and in America.
Since 2018, for 21 days each March, participants are presented with challenges like reading an article, listening to a podcast, investing in racial equity and social justice development, or reflecting on personal experiences to discover how racial injustice and social injustice impact the community.
I knew there was so much I needed to learn as a white male in our society in general.
And that's why the 21-day challenge spoke to Ray as a way to connect with one another and identify ways to dismantle racism and other forms of discrimination. Over 3,500 participants across the country took the challenge last year, with even more signing up this year. This challenge is for everyone.
You are a white man. Why do you care about the challenges of us being Black in America?
Yes, I am a white, middle-aged Clevelander. And as someone who is really focused on the economic vitality of our city and of our country, obviously a huge percentage of our country is represented by Black Americans. And their success is both my individual and I believe our collective success.
So, what did Ray learn from taking the 21-day challenge?
It gave me the opportunity to do a deep dive across a very broad section of content that could inform myself, my thinking. I knew that the insights and understandings that the 21-day challenge develops and builds would accelerate Jumpstart's success.
Now, WKYC Studios is the proud media partner of the 21-day challenge, and you can find out more information and how to participate yourself on WKYC.com. Well, next on What's New, a little boy is taking it upon himself to clean up his local parks. Oh, you blessed, precious baby. His story is ahead, and show us something good.
Then coming up on What Matters Most at 6, getting on this no waste list. How anyone, even those not so tech savvy, can get on a list for vaccine doses before they are thrown out. And let's take a look at today's pop quiz question. On this day in 1953, the first television broadcast of the Academy Awards was televised right here on NBC. What film won the Oscar for Best Picture that year? Was it The Quiet Man, Moulin Rouge, or The Greatest Show on Earth? We have the answer when we come right back.
Hey, David, how are you? Thank you for the heads up. Look, there's Matt Standridge back there. Good evening, and thanks for joining us. I'm Russ Mitchell. Laura Queso, a million more Ohioans are able to get the COVID-19 vaccine.
And then go right to
We're going to sit us in a high top in the middle of the restaurant. You think I'm sitting there? No. No way. I'm not ready for that.
All right, before the break, we asked you which picture won Best Film, 1953. Everyone will be glad to know that Russ Mitchell got this right. The greatest show on earth.
Because there's garbage on the earth.
Oh, yes, there is garbage on the earth. I want you to meet 6-year-old Marcus Sims. The young boy from Pennsylvania heard that there was broken glass at a skate park near his house. So he was inspired. What did he do? He not only cleaned up that garbage, but he went to other parks nearby, grabbed some friends, some brooms, shovels, and gloves, along with garbage bags, and they headed to these local trails and parks nearby where they picked up 7 bags of trash. His mom, Milana, hopes this inspires others to do positive things in their communities as well.
He's 6 years old and he saw a need, he wanted to meet it. So if a 6-year-old can do that, anybody can do it.
Truer words never spoken. If he can do it at 6, we all can do it. Let's get out there and make our communities a little bit cleaner. With that, we're out of time, but you know the drill.
So much.
We are back Monday at 5. Hope everybody has a great weekend. January, thanks for filling in. We'll see you soon.
Anytime. What matters most with Russ and Laura starts right now.
Now at 6, vaccine hunters. As more Ohioans become eligible for the COVID-19 vaccine, it can be harder to find appointments. Meet those helping hundreds snag a shot and their tips to finding success. Also, not going to waste.
I said, okay, I'm 39. I am not eligible. She goes, that's okay. These are no waste shots. You come in.
How you can get your name on a list that saves doses from being thrown away. Stop the Hate, a local restaurant not only struggling through the pandemic, but facing racism